Start controlling men with your femininity. Let me tell you this right now, okay? Your femininity is a superpower, and it can be used for destruction, but it can also be used to build great relationships where you are in a position of power, where he is activated to show you the best of his masculine energy and be his best self, pursue you in a way that you've never been pursued before, desire you in a way where you never have to question if he truly sees you and wants you. But it starts with you using your femininity to control him. Now, some people are going to hear this and they're going to say, oh, MJ, this sounds like manipulation. Are you teaching these women to manipulate men? Well, let me ask you this. Do men not use their masculinity to manipulate and control you? Does he not? Does he not use his silence at times and being laid back as a way to control you and pull you in? When he's not texting you back quickly, when he's treating you like you are maybe even not even a priority to him, because he's just laid back. Is he not using his masculinity to control you? When he raises his voice to assert himself, not aggressively, but to assert himself, is he not using his masculinity to influence you then? So this is not a question of manipulation. Manipulation all comes down to the intention of the person who's using the lesson. I'm just here to give the lesson. Use it appropriately, but of course I always tell people don't use it with malintention. Only use it with men who you know you absolutely want and absolutely value. Let me tell you this right now, okay? Your femininity, when you activate it in the right way, it is the thing that will get you everything you want. It can get you men. It can definitely get you money. And it can get you positions of power that trying to fake masculinity will never get you. You are a naturally feminine person. Lean into it and lean into the type of men who love your femininity. So I'm going to walk you through a couple of different ways that you can use your femininity to assert, to maintain, and to gain more power in your relationship with almost any masculine energy male. Again, use it only with someone that you absolutely want, because I don't want you to manipulate anyone. All right? That's our agreement. All right. When it comes to using your femininity, what you have to understand is this, okay? From day one that you meet this man, right? And people ask me, can I use this with a woman too? Like if she's a more masculine woman? Listen, it works on masculine energy, so use across the board. I say men, but you can use across the board. But when you're first meeting this masculine energy man, understand me when I tell you this. You have to be in control of yourself. If you can't regulate your own emotions, then you can't regulate him. And what I'm telling you is this right now. When you activate your feminine energy the right way from jump, that means that you will feel in the beginning, you're going to feel almost like, if you're new to this, you're going to feel like you're almost operating inauthentically. You're going to feel like you are holding something back. You're going to feel like, I need to speak up for myself more, right? Let me tell you something, sweetie. The less you talk, the more you control. The less you emote, the more you control. You see where I'm going with this? You have to put on a disposition of detachment. Listen when I tell you this. You have to present yourself as detached at all times. What do I mean by that? For example, you meet this guy. He's incredible. You want to go out with him. You want to spend time with him. You want to be around him. You know what I mean? But he's slow with reaching out to plan a date. What do? You detach. You stop contacting him. You stop reaching out to him. You wait on him to contact you. And then when he says, hey, yeah, maybe we should hang out at some point in time, that'd be great. That'd be great. Sure. I'd love that. You don't make plans. You don't propose next steps. You don't make plans. You don't propose next steps. When you do that, you're coming across as too attached. Detachment works not just in the beginning, but it also works later. People always ask me, say, what about in a long-term relationship, MJ? I've been with my partner for 6 years, 12 years, 20 years, whatever it may be. How do I put this in there? Then it's the same thing. Have you not noticed with men that when you detach, when you pull away, when they're uncertain about your feelings towards them, what do? They pull in closer. They pull in closer. Now they want to do all the things that you had to beg them to do. Now they want to spend more time with you. Now they want to take off work to have time with you. Now they want to be more affectionate. They want to do everything you want them to do when you detach. Now, see, you all often wait to detach until you are so fed up that you literally are feeling detached inside. You are like, I am done. I'm fed up. I've done everything for this man that I can do for him, and I still don't feel like a priority. So now I'm detached. And then he wants to lock in, and it's hard for you to lock back in or for you to own the power that you've now gained with him because you are already heartbroken. What I'm saying is, now that we've all experienced the power of detachment, usually at the end of a relationship, right? I'm not telling you anything you've not experienced before. I'm just helping you to find a new way to use it. You see where I'm going with this? What I'm saying is, what if you were to strategically, listen when I tell you this, use the power of detachment earlier in the relationship? What if you were to strategically, listen to me, at an earlier time when you first met him and when you first, throughout the relationship, you're always in a state of mind of never giving him more than he gives to you. And in fact, always making sure you give him a little bit less. Now, I always say the only people who disagree with me are the men who you use these strategies on. The weak ones. The ones who don't understand how this benefits them. All right? And to those men, it is what it is. Those aren't the ones we want, is it, girls? No. We want the pursuers. We want the hunters. Right? What I'm saying is you have to master the art of always presenting yourself like you really don't care. That doesn't mean coming through your face. You can come through your face and always look like you care. Right? I care. I'm really into this. I'm so excited. But remember, there's a limit to it. Okay? You don't care. You are detached. If he plans a date, great. If he doesn't plan a date, fine, because you have other options. Now, once you're on the date, what I always say, you want to be excited about him. You want to be around him and be excited, right? But that's one of the ways you remain in control. Now, for folks who are in a more mature relationship, you've been in it a little bit longer, and even in the beginning, I'm going to tell you this, and some people are going to say that this is something that I shouldn't tell you. Okay? Some people would even say that this may open the door for someone with bad intentions to really, really, really control someone and really manipulate them. Some people would say that. But what do I always tell you, ladies? I say, listen, your time and your energy are worth so much. So why would you give your time to a man that you don't truly love and truly are into, that you really want in your life? So everything I'm teaching is about bringing someone closer who truly wants you. It's only bad if you use it on someone who you don't really want. All right? You have to be emotionally unpredictable. Now listen, I didn't say emotionally unstable. You have to be emotionally unpredictable with a man if you want to be in control. If he knows that you are always going to be in a great mood and always receptive and always excited about him, especially in the beginning, baby, you will have no power whatsoever. You have to operate in a way where not that you're intentionally trying to confuse him emotionally, but that you're simply being authentic. Let's be real. As human beings, our emotions go all over the place in a given day. But what are we trained to do with masculine energy men? We're trained to always be positive and nice and make sure they always see us with a smile and be their peace, be their paradise, and all these other things. No. What I'm saying, I'm not saying to make up emotions that you don't have. What I'm saying is, psychologically, men as well as women tend to become more attached to you when your emotions are something that you give, pull back. Give, pull back. When you give it, you give in abundance and it feels good. When you pull back, they work harder to get those emotions back from you. I'm not saying to do this in a way for the pure purpose of confusing him. What I'm saying is be your authentic self. On those days, for example, when you don't feel like talking on the phone and you just want to stay home, text him that and say that. Even if you had a date that night. Hey, babe, I know we were planning to go out to dinner tonight, but I just kind of want to chill out at home tonight. So let's move it to another day. If that's how you authentically feel, do it. Don't do it often, but that's just an example. When you're around him, maybe sometimes you don't feel as talkative. When he's asking, what's going on? What's wrong? What's okay? I'm okay. I'm all right. How are you? You don't want to seem emotionally unstable in any way, shape, or form, but you do want to make sure that your good, bright moods, all that goodness, all the affection, that you're not pouring it on him so much that he undervalues it. Not at the beginning. Now, later on in the relationship, down the road, once you're actually in a relationship, great. Give it to him in abundance. But you have to understand this, okay? When someone is getting something in abundance, right? And it feels really good, and then you pull it away, or for that matter, you ration how you distribute it to them, right? When that happens, right, what ends up happening is that in the times where they're getting it, right, they are super, super, super excited to get it. And in the times when they're not getting it, they're working hard to get it again. Some of y'all are getting this, what I'm telling you, right? What I'm saying is, when you really like somebody and you want to be in a position of influence, you want to have control in that relationship, whatever they enjoy most about you, physical, beauty, time together, quality time, ration it out in a way that makes it special and makes him miss it when he's not getting it. Does that make sense? Don't let him become complacent. That's what it comes down to. Don't let it become complacent. It's like, I know some couples where I was in a coaching session. As you all know, I do coaching with folks. And I was in a coaching session about 2 weeks ago with a woman, and she was mentioning the whole idea of, hey, me and my husband have a date night. I'm not telling you anything else, just that one piece. My whole thing is this: I don't like the idea of a date night. So you're telling me every Saturday he knows that that you all are going to do this? No, I think it needs to switch up. It shouldn't be every week this time. I think it needs to switch up. I think there needs to be variety to it. Maybe sometimes you're not available. Maybe sometimes it's going to be something different. If he knows that every night at this time you coming over to his house, no. You have to make sure that it's unpredictable. Beyond that, and not just unpredictable, you have to make sure that there's variety to it. But beyond that, and this is really important. You know the area that you all lose the most control within? You all lose the most control with men when you're upset with them. You fuss about something. Maybe you have a big old attitude about something. You're very emotional. You're upset. One of the best ways to get in control with a guy is when he does something you don't like, don't react. Simply remove yourself. Don't react. Remove yourself. Someone just asked, how do you deal with him being distant after an argument? His distance doesn't matter because you're removing yourself. How do you notice his distance when you've removed yourself? When you're worried about he's being distant, he's not talking, your focus is not on the right thing. Your focus should be on you're not talking. You're getting your space. How can you get your space and focus on regulating yourself when you're focused on him? When he does something you don't like, don't you dare send him some long text message. I didn't like this. I didn't like that. Blah, 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 blah. Or I felt blah, 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 blah. Don't you dare, baby, sit down. I need to talk to you about something. We need to talk. And don't you dare try to fix it. If he's the one in the wrong, it's not your job to fix it. You need to learn to be uncomfortable with the discomfort. When he does something you don't like and he knows you didn't like it, let me tell you what you do. You zip your lips. That was me flicking the key. You all right? I'm good. But it's not enough just to give him the silent treatment and be around him, because if you're sticking around him, that don't do nothing. He says your presence. And he knows long enough he around you, you gonna fold. Girl, no. I'm okay. He like, you sure you want something to eat? Yeah. Oh, let me see my phone. Actually, I'm gonna head out. I thought you were staying here tonight. No, I'm gonna stay at home. I would rather stay there. So anyway, I'm gonna head out. I got my bag right here. I'm gonna head out. Mm-hmm. Now let me say what's gonna happen. Y'all already know. Hold on now. Why you leaving? Why you acting like that? Why you acting all emotional? He's gaslighting. Remember, we don't react. This is when it's go time, honey. This is the emotional Olympics. This is the Super Bowl. When he starts to push back, calm. Jody, I said I'm going home. I was watching Baby whatever. That's why I got Jody on my mind. No, I'm going home. Why you acting like that? Come on now. Come on. Why can't we just have a chill night? It wasn't even that big a deal. Don't you dare try to justify why you're upset. Like, no, it is a big deal. Blah, 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 blah. You don't justify, because when you justify, what you're doing is giving him power. Now you're no longer focused on holding your boundary. Now you're focused on deflecting to trying to convince him of why you're right. You don't convince a man why you're right when you know you're right. I'm ready to go home. Are you going to call an Uber for me, or do I need a call? Come on, why you acting like that? Come on now. What you want me to do? I mean, I'm sorry. Now you can press in. Because we're not cold-hearted. We don't have ice running through our bones. What are you sorry for? See, a lot of men think that you being difficult when you say that. But what we're really doing is giving them a path forward. To the men who are on his sneak and trying to take notes, when your girl says, what you sorry for? That means that you have an opportunity to fix it in that moment. She's open to fixing it. She's at the negotiation table. So don't be weak and silly and kick up dust. She's not being difficult. She's negotiating. Lean in. Sorry for what? If he takes accountability, I did X, Y, Z, blase, blase, blah, then maybe you stay. Maybe you don't leave. If he doesn't take accountability and he gives a half-hearted apology, let me tell you one of my favorite statements to say. I'll tell you what I used to say. Thank God I've had to say this in a long time. Well, it seems to me that you and I are at a philosophical impasse. And of course he says, what does that mean? Well, the way you were treating me, you and I fundamentally see it differently. And I would rather go home right now than explain to you what you already know. I deserve better. I'm leaving. Try again. No, try again. You all are so afraid of confrontation with your men. You are so afraid of disagreement. But confrontation and disagreement within all relationships, and I'm not talking about rage or anything like that. I'm talking about two people who don't agree. Those are very powerful moments for establishing and solidifying the power dynamic moving forward. Don't create disagreements. But when there is disagreements, this is not the time to become passive aggressive and nasty. This is not the time to lose your power, girls. This is not the time for that. No. This is the time. I got this one little curl you see this one little curl right here? She is just hanging out. This is the time to recognize that you can gain more control in your dynamic if you handle it the right way. I'm going to give you another example. I remember I was in high school. I think this must have been like my first boyfriend. Probably. And I liked him a lot. I remember when I met him in school. Tell you how I learned this lesson. I met him in school. He's always smiling at me, but I thought he was straight. I didn't know that how am I supposed to know anything, right? And I would see him with girls occasionally. So, I didn't know. They just walked down the hallway. What was I supposed to know, right? I knew nothing. And I've never been a home wrecker. So since I thought he was in a relationship, I left it alone. Anyway, eventually he starts saying to me, oh, we should hang out sometime. I was like, what does that mean? He's like, well, I live near the school. Like, after school, I can walk you to the bus stop if you want to come by my house. We can hang out over there or whatever. And we were young, so it wasn't none of that kind of stuff going on, right? And so I was like, okay, cool. So I would go over to his house every now and again, and we'd hang out and everything like that. And it was so cute. He liked me. I knew he liked me. I caught it after a while, but he was still straight. He didn't want nobody to know about it, right? Whatevs. His mom loved me. Everyone was just so sweet to me. And so we started spending more and more time together. And I remember one time I fell asleep on his bed. I was clothed or whatever. I fell asleep on his bed. And I woke up an hour later, and who's behind me cuddling me? Him, right? So we're spending time together a lot, consistently. And then guess what happened? One day, I'm walking in the hallway, and I see him walking beside this girl, right? Holding hands with a girl walking down the hallway. She's a pretty girl, nice girl. She was not my problem. He was. Because over these months, we had been spending time together. He was enjoying being around me, right? Loved it. I remember I used to sit there, and he had long curly hair, and I used to rub my hands in his hair while he was watching TV and stuff like that. Oh, honey, he got the best of my femininity. But then this one day, I now see him walking down the hallway, holding hands with another girl. Honey, I was heartbroken. I remember when I first saw it, my heart said, ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. But something inside of me, my feminine ancestors, they spoke to me. And they said, my child. I said, yes. She said, my child. I said, yes. She says, I know you're heartbroken. I said, I am. She says, but this is not the time to react. This is the time to align. Let me tell you what I did. For that rest of that day and the rest of that week, because we had a class together, and whenever he would come to that class, normally he would sit right beside me. Sometimes he'd even bring me a candy bar or something like that. Hey, I got something for you. I would ignore him. When he came in, this one particular day, I didn't sit in the seat where I normally would sit. I sat on the other side of the room. So there wasn't a seat beside me for him to sit right beside me. So after class, he's like, hey, what's going on? Like, you didn't sit in your normal seat. I was like, I gotta get to my next class. The day after that, I sat in the same seat. He comes over there. Somebody was sitting beside me. He's like, hey, can I have this seat? Told the guy to move. The guy moved. So he sits down beside me. He's like, hey, I got this for you. I know you like this. He gave me the candy bar. I said, I don't want it. Thank you. I'm full. I'm full. Thank you. It's not like I was a good student. You know what I mean? It's not like, let me focus on the studies. I was acting like I was focusing, right? And then so he's like, oh, I could see it on him. So then this one particular day, I'm walking down the hallway, right? And he saw me. And so he's like, hey. I just kept on walking like I didn't hear him. So he runs up behind me, and gently grabs my arm. Like, grabs my arm to turn me around. He's like, hey, you heard me? And I was like, mm-hmm. And he says, what's up with you? Why are you acting like this? I said, acting like what? He's like, oh my God, like for real. I be calling you, and when I call your house, I don't think we had cell phones back then. I didn't have one. He said, when I be calling your house, I know you be telling your mother to tell me that you busy, because she don't give the phone to you. Like, what's going on? Like, come on, you act like you always busy. What's going on? In that moment, I knew that he was ready to receive the directive. He was ready for the power dynamic to shift. He was ready for it. See, our silence is not a tool for manipulation. Our silence is a way of making sure that he's ready. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes we got to marinate the meat before we cook it, don't we? You can't just throw a piece of meat on the stove and you ain't marinated it right. It ain't gonna be tender. It's not gonna receive the seasonings. You get where I'm going. So he was marinated. He was right. He was receptive. When is he receptive? You will know. For those of us who cook, we don't need measuring cups. We season until our ancestors tell us to stop. That's what we do with these men. We cut off our energy from him until our ancestors say, go forth, my daughter. He's ready to receive. And in that moment, I knew he was ready. So he grabs my arm. What's going on? I said, I thought you were busy. What you mean I was busy? What you mean I was busy? Now, girls, only cry if you mean it and if you truly feel it. And in that moment, I did truly feel emotional. I did. And I said, I thought you were busy. He said, what? What you mean you thought I was busy? I don't think I don't know if it's good for us to still spend time with each other because clearly you have other things going on in your life. What you talking about? You was holding hands with that girl, Kanitra, I think her name is, walking down the hallway. I saw y'all. And, and y'all walked right by me like you didn't see me. He probably really didn't see me, girl, but I had to put a little seasoning on it, you know what I mean? And you walked right by me like you didn't even see me. And so I felt like that was your way of telling me that, I'm not important to you. And the reality is, he's like, no, I mean, it's not like that. We not, you and I, we not in a relationship. Like, what you mean? Like, I was like, okay, well, I mean, you're right, we're not. And so if that's what you want, you should be with whoever you want, however many people you want. I just can't be with you. What you mean? I can't spend time with you anymore. Like, that's too much for me. So, yeah. He's like, So what does that mean? I was like, it just means that I wish you and her luck. But I can't. And then, girl, I walked away. I'm sorry, I can't. I walked away. School let out at probably like 2 o'clock, 2:40, something like that. I got home. Because normally I would stop at the Chinese curry out and get me some chicken wings and mumbo sauce and iced tea. So I was usually home by like 4:30. I got home and that phone rang, honey. It's like he knew I walked through the door, girl. I walked in there. Yo, what you doing? I'm at home. What's up? Can I come by here? I was like, how you gonna get over here? The school bus has already left. I'm gonna walk over there. He walked over. Probably got there like 5:30. It's like an hour later, right? We didn't have Uber back then. I want you to be mine. I'm staying on my front porch, sitting there. He couldn't come in the house. I couldn't have people over when I was there by myself. I followed the rules. I was like, what's that mean? I want you to be mine. Come on now. I was like, but what does that mean? Quit playing, like, for real. Like, I want you to be mine. Like, come on, I miss you. Like, and why didn't you tell me you was mad about that? You think I said I wasn't mad? I said nothing. I said, what does that mean? I want you to be mine. Come on now. We're going to be together. I was like, so does that mean, like, what? Does that mean you still going to be with other people? Like, I don't understand what that means. No, I ain't going to be with nobody else. I want to be with nobody else but you. Clock it. I learned a valuable lesson at that point in time. That for some men, the best way to move them is through depriving them. You got to deprive them of the thing that they want. And then after they experience what it feels like not to get it, and then they come to you, he's got to come to you. Because you throw off the magic when you deprive him and you do all this work, and then you go to him. Wait for him to come to you. And when he comes to you, he has to come with an open heart. That's how you know he's ready for your revelation of what you want. Right? And then you tell him, baby, what did that do? That set together a power dynamic. Right? From then on out, dating him, guess what would happen? If ever I got aggravated or annoyed with something he was doing, I never had to fuss. I never had to fight. I never had to do nothing like that. If he did something I didn't like, I was just... I'm going to go now. I'm going to go now. I'm leaving. Like, what you mean? Because I'm just... I'm going to go now. I thought we were supposed to... I'm sorry. I'm not saying give him the silent treatment. What I'm saying is, listen, this is really for self-care, ladies. This is self-care. This is about self-care. It's not manipulation. It's self-care. I truly mean this. It's not being silent for the sake of getting control. It's being silent because internally you need silence as a way to process your own emotions, to be able to think, what is my heart saying to me? How can I say what my heart is saying to me? How can I hear what my heart is saying to me if I'm too busy battling with him, trying to convince him of what I want him to feel or think or do? It's giving yourself that silent time to think. That's one of the reasons why I say, and I'm not like an old school conservative person when it comes to this, but that's why I do say, I don't think it's a great idea to live with a man until you all are at a deep point of commitment that is close to marriage or something like marriage. Because during those beginning phases of the relationship, those are the training phases. He's training you and you're training him. You need a space to be able to go to. That's not just the other room. Just in my opinion. That's just my opinion. And if you all are living together and you're trying to reset the dynamic for you to have more feminine control in the relationship, then that means you have to leave the house sometimes. I'm good. I'm just gonna go. I have some things to do today. But I'm telling you, it's much easier to enforce when y'all have a different house. Let me share this with you. Being in control in a relationship is not about making a man do everything you want him to do. It's not about making a man give up his free will. No, none of that at all. You can do that, but it's not sustainable. It won't work long term. I'm telling you that right now. It's about recognizing that masculine energy men want you to lead the relationship emotionally. They do. That's why in a lot of cases they're waiting on you to bring up the issue. You say, he never brings up nothing. I always have to bring it up. Because he wants you to take the lead emotionally. He's afraid of bringing it up in the wrong way or doing the wrong thing or afraid of your reaction, so he won't in some cases. So they want you to lead, but here is the catch-22. They want you to lead in good ways, and they also want you to lead in the other ways. They want you to lead, how can I put it? They want you to lead when it comes to resolving issues, but they also want you to lead emotionally when it comes to the goodness of the relationship. Right? But here's the catch-22. If you're always the one leading emotionally, bringing up everything all the time, what does that do? It then doesn't teach him and align him to understand his role in being an active member of the relationship. What you're doing is you're setting a standard when I talk about controlling it. You're setting a standard that if he wants things to move in a direction, that he wants things to move in the relationship, greater commitment, more time together, more access to you, then it can only be done under your terms. He should not be getting these things if he's spending time with other women. Absolutely not. He should not be getting these things if he doesn't choose like your priority. Absolutely not. And so when I talk about controlling the relationship, I'm not talking about controlling him. What I'm really talking about is controlling yourself in such a way where you are the standard. You communicate through your actions and through your pullback. If you want me, you have to do this. If you want my time, if you want my energy, if you want access, if you want any of these are the things you have to do. Now, for some of you all, I know you say, oh, this sounds draining. This sounds like so much work. I don't have to do this. I'll just stay single. Well, I'll grow 20 feet tall and become a giraffe. Let's see how quick that happens. You don't want to stay single. You're just emotionally tired from doing things the wrong way in the past. And so you associate relationships with difficulty and work, not because they really are, but just because of the fact that the way you have been trained to do them, the way you're accustomed to doing relationships was a lot of work because you were doing them in a way where you gave away your power, your autonomy, your agency, your control to someone. So the truth of the matter is, if you were honest with yourself, there's nothing wrong with relationships and there's nothing wrong with being empowered in your feminine energy. What was wrong was your dynamic. And that's why I'm teaching you a different dynamic. Because what I'm telling you is this, is if you do things this way, it's going to feel so much easier. So much easier. It's going to feel so much easier. So much easier. Trust me. I have never in my life, okay, ever in my life asked a man to be in a relationship with me. Never, it always came from them. Always. Always. He's like, oh my God. How? Always. Because I learned at a very early age, and I have not always done things perfectly. Over time, I learned more and I did better. And I made mistakes too. But you said, MJ, let me just say, listening to you has gotten me engaged. That's what I'm talking about. Listen to her. But I'm telling you this right now. I have always practiced, since that story I told you about when I was a teenager, I have learned to always lean into my femininity, to use my attention as a reward, and my distance as a way to correct your behavior. It has worked consistently. Now, mind you, my orientation is really only towards masculine energy men. So would this work on a man who leans into more feminine energy who wants to be pursued? Probably not. But that's not who I'm oriented towards anyway. Right? Literally. And for those who are asking about setting a session with me, I do have a couple of sessions in this upcoming week. You can click the link that's directly above or below this video, or the link that's on my social media pages. It's that link. You click it, you can schedule a one-on-one session with me. It happens through video calls, confidential. You're good to go. But for me, I have never had to pursue a man before. Never. Because when I sensed the energy of a man who likes to be pursued, I pulled away. Because if I'm pursuing him, oh God, my face just got a twitch in thinking about that. Then that means that from day one, it's going to be a dynamic where he's in control. And the idea of a masculine energy man in control in a relationship with a feminine energy being, you, me, whoever, is like the idea of giving a 2-year-old the keys to a rocket ship and saying, drive safely. It doesn't work very well. Real men want you to be in the emotional lead. I love when I was growing up and men would say, happy wife, happy life. That's the kind of men I grew up around. You see what I'm saying? That's what I saw. That's what I was trained in. I was telling someone a story the other day. I said, I was so fortunate to have my parents who were very accepting of me as me. Me as me. They never had any issues with who I am. But I think that for my mom and my grandmother particularly, and my dad to a degree also, they never had a gay kid. So they didn't know what to tell you to do or what not to do. So when it came to tell me what to do, when I remember when my grandmother would be sitting in there talking to my sisters or my female cousins, because one of them got in trouble with a boy, and she'd be trying to teach them how to handle things the right way. And I'd be in the kitchen, maybe cooking or somewhere around the house. Say, "Hey Malcolm, get in here, sit down right here. You need to be listening to this too." Now, they just trained me with the same lessons they were giving the girls. That's all I got. Right? So people say, "Oh, MJ, you need to act like a man." I love being a man, but darling, I come from an accepting family. And my accepting family trained me for the reality of my life. You see where I'm going? How to navigate men. And my grandmother was very clear. These men are not going to run over you. You're going to run them. You're going to run this. Because they're happier when you're happy. And that's why I teach you these lessons. You say, "Oh, your advice seems so seasoned, like you've been here before." It's because my wonderful female relatives, they gave me that. They've given me this. They're my aunts who've spoken to me. And what I can tell you is this. I can't say I always picked the right men who were going to be there forever. Who always picks the right one? Wonderful men, but we were not always made for forever. But what I can say is one consistent theme I've always experienced in my relationships that I am teaching you about right now is this. Your relationship with a masculine energy partner is going to be far happier and far healthier for you and for him, or for her if you're interested in a masculine energy woman, when you lean into your ability to influence and, dare I say it, control sometimes. Pull your affection back and pull your attention back as often as needed in order to make sure that they value it. Assert yourself through only giving your positive, warm, affectionate energy when they do what you want. Never in any way use aggressiveness to communicate when you don't like something. Remember, they are far more likely to want to do the things that can keep getting them the feelings that they like, right? It's all about feelings. They're more likely to do the things that you like because when they do the things you like, you give them what they like. So they're going to do that more than they're going to give you what you want because they're afraid of the consequences. But they have to also experience the consequences. Sometimes they do. So they can understand what that feels like also. So notice, I'm not saying always use the silent treatment and distance as a way to influence. No, what I'm saying is when necessary, use it. But ultimately, the most powerful thing you can do in order to be able to influence and control the relationship is when you give them the absolute best of yourself when they're giving you the best of themselves. When they treat you good and make you a priority, you make him feel like a king. When he makes you feel protected and provided for, you make him feel nurtured in a way that he's never experienced and even his mother couldn't compete with. That's the other side of this. That's the side of it that he likes. You give him the absolute best of yourself, so much that he feels so lucky to have you. Everything he likes, you do it when he's doing the things you like. But when he doesn't, you give him distance and you give yourself space so you can process your next steps and so that he can process what it feels like not to have you. If you like this message, go ahead and get my book. Oh my God, I'm reading your comments right now. Oh my goodness, let me grab my book for you, all right? I'm reading your comments. That was so sweet. Get my book. Get Out of Your Own Way, A Guide to Letting Go of the Stuff That's Holding You Back. Oh my goodness. I'm almost emotional reading your comments of you all talking about how these lessons have worked for you. And my book is available wherever books are sold. I'm on the audio version. I do the reading on there. You know the audio version of my book has outsold the print copy of my book because y'all like to hear me read it. So anyway, you can get this wherever books are sold, online, everywhere. And then, of course, if you want to schedule a coaching session with me, I do those. I have sessions. I may have a couple left in this upcoming week. So go ahead and get those before those are booked up. My clients are from all over the world, okay? And I'm so happy to meet with y'all. You can click the link that's directly above or below this video. Yes, my book is on Amazon. It's available where books are sold. Just search for MJ Harris. MJ Harris. You'll see my name on there. It's the gold book. It's called Get Out of Your Own Way, A Guide to Letting Go of the Stuff That's Holding You Back. All right, y'all. I'll see you soon.